And welcome back to the programme. As we are every Thursday, we're joined here in Newstalk studios in Dublin by the guys from BookBuzz to run through the latest business bestsellers out there at the moment. Alan Jordan, Sales Director of BookBuzz, is with us this morning. Morning, Alan.
Hi, Ian. How are you?
I'm good. Today's book, Cultural Strategy by Douglas Holt and Douglas Cameron. What's it about?
Yeah, it's a very engaging book. Brand and marketing people will love it, but there's some stuff in it for small businesses as well. I suppose the key thing on cultural strategy, what exactly is it? Do you know what it's about? It's really trying to tell you how to forge new businesses that take advantage of changes in society, which is a bit of a mouthful. But I'll give you some examples later of what I mean by that.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, let's give you two big ones, right? The book covers a whole range of what happens with Nike, Jack Daniels, Ben & Jerry's, Starbucks. But I'll give you two examples on just jeans and products that we'd be familiar with. The Levi's and Lee battled back in the 80s. So, for example, Levi's in Europe, pretty much a dormant product in the 80s. 82, the sales were down by 11%, 83, 2%, 84, 13%. It was losing $80 million in Europe. In fact, Levi's Inc. were going to pull out of Europe. It was over. The brand was dead. So they need to get someone to reinvigorate it. They sent in a guy named Bob Roque, who actually hooked up with an ad agency called BBH. And what they had to do was they had to bring it back to the cultural identity of the jeans, the brands, which was going back to America in the Wild West. It was going back to the 50s. But the difficulty they had in Europe was back in the 80s, you had Ronald Reagan in power. You had a lot of anti-American feeling. So they had to kind of lock into the kind of cultural thing that was happening in Europe. People still liked America, but not overtly. So they come up with these famous set of ads that we probably all remember. The first one being the laundrette man, where the guy would come down, he'd strip off right down to his jocks, he'd throw it in the laundromat. And this was all set in a kind of surreal 1950s feel with the music, the hairstyles. So that kind of just caught a buzz within that generation. And what happened for Levi's was that it sales just mushroomed. Following year, up by 600%, up by 1,000%, and all about they just got into a cultural change, a cultural idea that was happening in Europe at the time.
Is it not just branding, rebranding?
Yeah, it's different. You see, the branding, and that's a good point. Branding traditionally works on two elements. You've got the kind of functional benefits and you've got the emotional benefits. The thing we'd remember most when we were all kids growing up was maybe Maltesers, which was, melts in your mouth, not in your hand. So again, it was trying to show the benefits of the product, what it did for you. So, and they would call that in branding terms kind of mind share marketing. In fact, sometimes there's enough buzzwords in here to power a chainsaw. But huge amount of information on just the changing, the saying, look, you've got to move away from benefits and functionality into getting into the psyche of the cultural changes that are happening. And that would be example, say Nike would be a clear example of that. Just one other example on Lee's, on Lee jeans, right? Again, the 1980s. Lee was incredibly popular in Bruce Springsteen's famous album called We're Born to Run. His backside is encased in a thing of Levi's. The next week in Rolling Stone, the front of it, he's wearing a Lee denim shirt. Brilliant. Lee, sales are going through the roof. All the brand people get at it, segment it, do focus groups. The bureaucracy takes over, and they say, you know what? Well, what's the real benefits of the jeans? Well, they're a comfortable fit. Comfortable fit. Okay, let's segment that. What target market is that? Well, actually, middle-aged women like comfortable fit. Right, okay, so for the next 10 years, their advertising then was selling jeans to middle-aged women who wanted a comfortable fit. They missed the youth market completely.
Well, you mentioned some big brands there, Nike, Lee, Levi's, Starbucks. What's in it for small firms?
Yeah, I think the thing for small firms is, and the great thing is that David can take on Goliath, because the big guys just get so bureaucratic, so stilted, that there's a lack of innovation coming through. Smaller teams, they take risks, they make it up as they go along, there's a gut feel, there's a lack of bureaucracy. So in actual fact, you take the two big players in that area, Coke and Pepsi, who haven't generated anything new for 30 years, what they have to do is they have to end up buying up entrepreneurs with new ideas, because they can't come up with them anymore.
A worthwhile read for anybody?
Absolutely. Certainly people, brand, marketing, or anybody just likes a historical read. If you love Mad Men, you'll love this book. And then for small businesses, lots of great ideas for you as well.
Well, you've got me hooked on it now when you said Mad Men. Well, Alan, what's your thought for this week?
Yeah, a great little book, which is from the Sales Bible by Jeffrey Gitomer, and he, lots of activity around sales development, get out there, meet new customers, etc. But one important thing to remember is that one testimonial is worth 100 sales pitches. So when you're out there, particularly with multimedia, YouTube, get customers to say nice things about you and blog it, put it up there and promote it.
Well, Alan Jordan, Sales Director of BookBuzz, thank you very much. And that book you referenced there, Cultural Strategy by Douglas Holt and Douglas Cameron. Now to the markets.